Are you bored? Bored of casting the same old spells in your tabletop role-playing games? How about if you were able to cast a Wall of Horse, which is a 20-foot-high dome of pure equine power? If that's the case, then Coffee Steak Studios has got the content for you. You can either check them out by going to their itch.io store or becoming a Patreon of their Patreon campaign. There'll be links in the show notes. And now, on with the show, Wizard. Hello and welcome to another episode of We're Not Wizards. My name's Richard. I'll be your host for November, I guess. Or it could be Christmas. This could be like the Christmas special. I'm all over the place. I'm all sixes and sevens. I'm a bit of a mess. I'm a bit wrecked. I'm a bit ruined. I've been a bit ill. I've been a bit under the weather. So when you're feeling a bit of a wreck and ruin type of man, there's only one man to get on, because he is the expert when it comes to being wrecked and ruined. It's Mr. Mark McKinnon, back from the wasteland. What are you called now? Are you the fully funded Kickstarter entrepreneur coming to retail near you of fame?
According to Bez, I am Mark McKinnon of Fully Funded Wreck and Ruin fame is my
your official job title.
Yep.
And it's stuck. I don't think I've never seen Bez kind of introduce you as anything else. I've never actually seen Bez introduce you as anything else as Mark McKinnon. It's always Mark McKinnon of blah 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 blah, blah fame.
And it's not even it's not even like it's just in front of other people. That's what she'll call me when it's just us as well.
Yeah.
Like on the phone, everything.
Yeah. I see that. I hear that even when I've spoken to her myself, and your name comes up. It's the full. It's almost like it's a Regency type title. For people who haven't listened before, you can do some catching up because Mark's been on a few times. So you can go back and just search for Mark McKinnon, and you'll find him being on the show a couple of times to talk about Wreck and Ruin, which was it last year? It was funded now. Has it been that long?
Last June, yeah. I actually funded just after UK Games Expo last year.
That's amazing. I can't even talk about how quickly time's going. It's absolutely ridiculous. We got you on because it's been far too long since we had a chat in general, because everybody's busy and everybody's always doing stuff, so it'd be kind of nice to kind of have you back. Wreck and Ruin is now, it's not only funded, it's manufactured, it's landed in people's laps, people are playing it, you're still out and about kind of discussing its virtues and fun. But
yeah, it's out there.
Is that scary?
It is a little bit, and the scariest thing actually was when somebody tagged me in a post on one of the Facebook groups, and I was like, how does this guy know who I am? And then, that moment of realisation where I was like, okay, I printed my game, my name's on the front of 1,000 boxes, so yeah, I deserved that one.
Have you had any, have you getting kind of like unsolicited feedback? Do you get people kind of contacting you, asking you for kind of rules, explanations, or asking you for, when you're doing expansions and stuff like that?
I did a couple of FAQs on Board Game Geek. Most of the stuff was in the rule books, but that way it's just nice to it was nice to have people just ask questions and, showed a bit of interest. But yeah, I put a couple of just clarifications on there, but on the whole, people are just, they're saying, what's next? And they're always asking me, can you do this? Can you do that? Have you thought about doing this? And I'm like, dude, I've thought of everything.
Because I've seen you lately, you're doing solo rules.
Yeah, so what happened was, I don't know if you'll remember from a while back, I talked about doing a kind of Thunder Road style kind of 2-player quick kind of setup. So I started going to work on that, and I thought, right, well, this would benefit from being like a kind of solo event. And then when I started that, I actually thought, well, actually, why don't I just write solo rules for the whole game? Like, how hard can it be? It is hard. It turns out to be very hard, but you know what I mean? I was like, well, I've half started the work now, so it's like everything I do, I've started, so I'll finish.
Oh dear. So it's like kind of like, damn it, I'm 52% of the way there. I might as well just carry on.
It's like I'm 3. I've opened up a Word document. I've got to do it now. It's like that's how committed I am. Yeah, 3% of the way there. So let's see it through.
But you like that though. I mean, you got to be self-motivated, because it's not like there's not a team of you, is there? I mean, you are just kind of, it's you, yourself, and I kind of getting on with this. So you just got to say, right, okay, I'm going to do this, get out of the way, and then you must still have quite a lot of motivation to keep kind of giving back to the game, because I know for a lot of people on Kickstarter, and I don't know, it's not a case of not wanting to do stuff, but some people, they get to the Kickstarter and they draw a line under it and then they move on to the next project. But with Wreck and Ruin, you seem to still be talking about it, tinkering away with it, and as you say, the solo rules have come out. Are they really, really that difficult?
So it was just, you don't realise how many micro decisions that you make, like unintentionally, when you're playing a game, and it's, it was that physical process of writing, right, what would I think of doing next?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So I've done them as flow charts. I've kind of made them as simple as I can.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where I think I've actually made them too simple now, so I'm actually working on putting more stuff back in. But yeah, it's just that way, right, well, what would I do if I was sitting there? Well, here's what I would check first. Right, can I do that? No, right, so what would I do next? So that it basically gives the simulation of me being in the room, basically playing it the way I would play it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not until you actually start writing it down that you realise just how many steps there are, and you make that decision in unless you've got analysis paralysis, you make that decision in seconds usually.
Yeah.
But it was quite strange to actually write it down and say, well, actually, there's more to this than you'd think.
Did it give you kind of renewed respect for like the solo player variants that you get, like, that Jamie Stegmaier's done for, like, his Automata that he's done for like Viticulture and Scythe and things like that?
Yeah, it's just, it's not so much about what a piece would do, but it's also how it interacts with the evolving game state. That's the difficult thing. It's not just a case of, right, well, this is what you do at the start. It has to react to what's happening round about it. And yeah, that's the kind of, that's the strange thing, like, right, what would I do in this situation? And you can't write for every situation, so it's just trying to get a kind of, do it with broad strokes, but still give the same essence that there's an intelligence behind it.
Yeah, because I mean, the thing with Wreck and Ruin is there's a change in state to the game, and basically you're trying to wipe out the other players who have different sizes and different powered kind of vehicles. Everybody's got a set of, the same type of vehicles basically. But as the game state changes, you might like wipe out somebody's big rig, or you might be the only person, might only have a scout left. So you've got to, where you would usually make one action and just go and say crash into somebody, try and take them out or whatever. You might want to do something different if you've only got like so many vehicles left. You might want to be a kind of like a little bit more kind of cautious.
Conservative.
Yes. Yeah. Has it given you ideas for other rule variants as well? Have you kind of looked at kind of saying, well, this actually, maybe we could introduce this as a slightly different scenario or kind of way to play the game?
every single thing that I do, it always gives me more ideas. And it's just, it's like you open a door and there's 3 doors, and you pick one and there's 3 doors behind that. And that's the way it always is. And you're always looking for the dead end, and it's never there.
You're like stuck in like a final, was it a fighting fantasy book? You've like turn to page 73 and it says now turn to page 54 or page 12, and you're like, ah, damn it, you just keep going. Except the book's infinite and it's got infinite numbers of volumes, and it's never ever gonna end. With regard, with the models themselves, are you offering people the chance to kind of buy the models as a separate thing? Then was that something that you can ever consider? Because I'm very conscious of there's a game out there called kind of like Gaslands as well, which I've seen a lot of people kind of and ah over and kind of, ooh, this is lovely. Are people able to actually? Have you thought about being able to buy the kind of the vehicles that you have, because they're very cool? Let's face it.
I was talking about that with somebody at Glasgow Games Festival the other day. How I was actually considering the models as they are just now. They're the wrong scale for Gaslands. Gaslands kind of runs off Matchbox kind of size. Yeah. But the 3D printer is up and running now.
Ooh.
I'm looking to kind of up the scale and maybe try some kind of up to Matchbox scale kind of vehicles and see if there is any interest in it, because a lot of people did buy the minis separately as part of the Kickstarter as well. Mm-hmm. It was for 2 purposes. One was because they're cool minis and some people just like minis, doesn't matter what they're for.
Yeah.
But the other thing was a bit of future proofing. The original vision of Wreck and Ruin was that you basically created your own convoy. So at some point I'm going to want to get back to that, where basically you can decide that you're going to have your 3 big rigs up against 40 of my scouts. You don't have to go as ridiculous as you want with it. So that basically, you just some kind of point system where it's all equal, but you can create what you want with it, and the minis will be available to do that kind of thing with it, so that in the future, if anyone wants to give that a bash, then they can do it as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it could be like, as you say, it could be like a point system, but everything's worth a certain amount of points, and then you can kind of like play the kind of different kind of scenarios and stuff like that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, like when I first started designing the game, like I did draw heavily from my kind of old Warhammer roots. Mm-hmm. So like a point system, points value, kind of felt natural at the time. And then as the game progressed, it's like, well, let's keep it simple to start with. Everyone's got the same stuff. But there's no reason why, once you know how to play the game, why you can't mess about with it and do that kind of thing with it.
Did you ever get any joy by having them kind of like racing in a kind of a Mad Max style, kind of straight down a ramp, like kind of like remember the days like Thunder Road?
Yeah, so I'm still working on the 2-player variation of that. Mm-hmm. So that is, once the AI rules once I'm happy with them, they'll be translated to kind of fit in with that. So it'll be one AI faction, but it's unstoppable. It's basically always coming when anything's blown up. It's taken off the board and it's just reset again. And it basically just keeps coming until the idea is you've been ambushed and you're pegging it down the highway trying to get away from it. And it's the big rig that triggers the movement all the time. He's the one everyone's interested in. It's him that wipes the board as he goes the rolling road.
All right.
So still working on that. That's going to come out at some point as well. Everything's going to be print and play to start with, so they'll all be free to begin with.
Yeah.
And then at some point I might do a kind of an actual proper quality expansion one if anyone wants to have it as well. But I'll wait till I've got a couple of my ideas all together, enough to fill a box.
How do you keep yourself interested? because a lot of the designers that I speak to, they've got like 3 or 4 different projects that they're always kind of working on, and yet you seem to keep kind of going back to Wreck and Ruin. Do you ever take breaks and step away from it for a couple of weeks at a time so you don't kind of get burnt out, or are you just quite happy to kind of keep kind of tinkering away?
It was never an intentional decision. I'm working on other kind of designs, but every now and again, all it takes is I go to a convention, I play it, and that's it. The fire's back. You know, the forge has been restoked and is now ready to produce some fine quality castings. So. Yeah, I think that's how I feel about it.
I was just going to cut that out because that
was that corny.
No,
cheesy.
It wasn't. It was no. There's no. That was just pure cheese. And there's no, and also because as I say, it can be. I know it's difficult to keep going with something, and that's why you see in any kind of creative medium, you'll see people kind of, we're changing the format, or we're changing the style, or we're doing something slightly different, and it's not necessarily because somebody needs to, they need to change the style for whatever reason. Sometimes they're changing it not for the audience, or they're not changing it for the people that are going to play in the game. Sometimes they're changing something for themselves in order to kind of keep themselves kind of interested.
Well, I think it helped that the game now is still not the fully formed vision. So it was never like, this is everything I thought of. Everything's in the box. Right now, I'm going to try and add something into it. It was just a case of, this is all stuff that I wanted in there in the first place. And just, luckily, I didn't do it all because you'll know yourself, there's no more space in that box. I can't fit anything else in it. If I'd unlocked one more stretch goal, I would have put myself under with the postage costs.
You would have needed a bigger box. You'd have needed a bigger boat as well.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
To get everything kind of over. What about helicopters?
Flying vehicles.
Flying vehicles, Mr. McKinnon. Come on, we've all seen Mad Max 3 and even Mad Max 2 with a guy in the helicopter kind of thing. Have you thought about bringing those little beauties out to play? Do you have plans to do that, or am I just talking rubbish?
The working title is the Balloon Bomber. It's
I knew it! My spies serve me well.
Yeah, so a kind of hot air balloon, kind of patchwork kind of thing floating about.
Yeah.
Just kind of, mildly minding its own business, kind of just floating in the breeze, and then boom, just drops a little bit. Just drops something right over the side. So yeah, there's ideas for other vehicles, other factions as well. One of the things that I wanted to do was make the factions a bit more asymmetrical. So at the moment, the base game, all the stats are the same.
Yeah.
But then actually to give the factions a bit more of their individual feel, I'm looking for ways to kind of change them. So just slight stat variations, maybe slight kind of small buffs that will kind of make them stand apart. So each one will actually feel, different to play, other than how the models look and how you use their faction powers.
Is that going to be difficult to maintain the balance then? Because I know of again, it's like people say, I kind of made that change to it, but then they do like another reprint of the game, and they say, well, let's do some additional balancing because we realise certain kind of combinations make the thing kind of unbalanced and put it in somebody else's favour.
Yeah, so it's always going to be a hard one to kind of judge, but the good thing that I've ever had, like, people say to me, oh, well, some of these faction abilities are, everyone says, oh, this one's OP, But the thing is, everybody says it about a different one. So, to me, that's basically as close as you can get to balancing. If they're all saying the one card's the same, that's the strongest one in there, then you can't dispute that. But if everyone, it's obviously dependent on their playstyle, if they're coming up with a different answer, then that shows me that I don't have that issue as such.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll take a lot of kind of tweaking and messing about until it feels right. But yeah, that's something that I want to do as well. And that would come in nicely then for when I actually do other factions as well, because just now I've got the ideas for factions. I've already got their faction abilities, but I don't just want to bring out another set of minis that look different with four cards that do different things, but that's the only differences between them. So I want to have the kind of the unique faction identities properly down before I do any of that kind of stuff. But yeah, they're all going to have new vehicles. The balloon bomber's one of them. He's the flying one. And also like the idea of some giant kind of mortar that you kind of set up at the back somewhere, and it kind of takes its time to kind of get set up, but then it can kind of fire long distance. But if anyone attacks it while it's in that position, it's basically, it has to kind of de-rig. And so you have to think very carefully about when you set it up, where you set it up, and when you need to kind of break it back down once somebody's coming for it.
Yeah, I like the idea of kind of bringing in just a dish, and I guess this is what you can do, because it's kind of like, because it's such a modular game, there'd be nothing wrong with you saying, okay, as you say, bringing in like a big kind of mobile gun that basically everybody's maybe trying to stop, or even like a completely kind of different faction. Have you thought about even slightly different kind of boards? You know, a more industrial type setting, or even a jungle type setting where everybody's kind of driving in between the valleys and mountains and stuff like that. I mean, of course you have, haven't you? You've definitely forgot. You've got that. You've got drawings. Yeah. Absolutely. Right. Right, I'm going.
The very first idea of the game was originally that you were driving about in like a kind of desolate city, but then I quickly realised that with the size of the board that I was working with, it just wasn't really feasible to get that many streets in. You know, before I realised it, like one street and that was it, like the whole board was covered. Yeah. So yeah, it's like, right, well, I can't quite go down that route, but there was two kind of expansions that I was interested in right from the start. I'd wrote out all this stuff back when it had squares. That's how long ago we're talking about. There's one, basically, it's a tower that has been found, but it's a giant skyscraper, a big needle in the sky, but nobody can access it. So there's two areas in the map where you need to get your buggies, which are your healers. They basically need to come in and repair these areas so that it actually like kind of allows you to access the building, open the door to get in and do stuff. So kind of always want to do something like that. Also like the idea of having big holes in the ground. So one of them was always going to be kind of jump the Grand Canyon kind of thing. I want ramp points. I want, you fall down here, you're dead, but you make the jump and it'll be the coolest thing you'll ever see. Kind of idea.
I always like the idea of some kind of, and I've seen a game do it quite recently, Terror Below, which was kind of like based on like almost like the Tremors film. Yeah. Where you have actually something kind of burrowing underneath the ground that, can have a... See, what I think about Wreck and Ruin is the more I've played it, is that here's a game that's almost like a sandbox game, that there's nothing to stop you from kind of bringing stuff to the table and making slight kind of variations to it. and kind of it was almost made to kind of be slightly house ruled, depending on how you want to play it on the day.
Yeah, that's how I sell it. Like when I go to conventions and I say, look, this is everything that's in the box. Here's the rules. But once you know how to play it, you can do what you want with it.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you what to do with it. This is what I've done with it. But I'm encouraging you to do your own thing, and I want you to share it with me. And I think that's what's nice about my community, that they do that. Somebody will say, the reason the AI rules came about was because every time I put up a post, one guy just kept saying, where's the AI rules? That way it's like,
yeah.
Here's me, I'm down at the seaside, where's my AI rules? I'm not even talking game stuff anymore. I'm out for dinner with the family, AI rules. I was like, okay, come on. You know what I mean? It's like, there's just that nice kind of, they want to see more stuff, but they want to do more stuff themselves as well. And I think that helps, like you're saying, with the motivation. Mm-hmm. It's like, if people want to do that, am I really doing it myself? We're all just kind of hive minds, all kind of working in our own place, but kind of coming up with cool things with what I've done, which is quite a cool feeling.
I mean, going forward with you, are you tempted to stay with this size of game? I know it's like, just dream big games, but have you thought about putting out something kind of like smaller, something lighter for the next game? Because I don't know if many people are aware, but like you went to Kickstarter kind of, was it three times?
Third time's the charm, yeah.
Yeah, to get kind of Wreck and Ruin kind of funded. And I know that there's a lot of people that kind of give up after the first attempt. They go, right, now I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother kind of coming back. I know that, I know it was, I know that somebody I was listening to, they were saying that there was only 65% of folk bother kind of coming back.
Yeah, well, I was actually mentioning one of Jamie Stegmaier's blogs because he had a discussion with one guy that he was kind of coaching, and the guy had failed his like a campaign, and Jamie was basically trying to say, at what point do you decide that the idea just shouldn't be out there? Mm-hmm. So he asked the guy to do a deep dive into Kickstarter, and they came across my project as one of only, I believe, 5 that I've ever successfully funded after 2 failed attempts. Whether that's because people give up, I don't know if there's anyone that's done it on the 4th, or if 3 is the limit. But yeah, 1 of 5, which is, considering the amount of projects that go through, I think that was quite a surprise to me when that came up.
I think there's a lot of guys that fund on the second attempt, and I know there's a lot of guys that kind of like, they fail on the first attempt and then they're almost back at it within about 3 or 4 weeks to say, right, this time we're going to do it, and they kind of lower the funding goal, when they lower the manufacturing costs, they say, and then they bring everybody back in, and then with such a low goal, they seem to get funded. They get funded relatively quite quickly, and then you're going. And I always wonder with these guys is how much they having to reach into their own back pocket to make sure that the project kind of goes ahead and kind of gets funded. With what do you keep an eye on Kickstarter just now? Are you still kind of very much a backer? Do you keep an eye on how things are going with people
I
themselves?
tried to stay out.
Yeah.
It didn't work. So Craig, he's my friend that comes and does basically most of the shows with me.
Yeah.
So he's one of the few people that follows me on Kickstarter, so he gets a notification whenever I back anything. So I usually get a text message saying, you'll say, hiya, fancy coming around playing games Saturday? Oh, by the way, stop backing more games. Like one of them, so there was a project that, it was one of these ones where the guy was a bit sadly deluded, and he wanted £200,000 to make this game, and if he got 2005, he'd make it into a movie. One of those kind of people. So I'd went on and I backed him at £1, just so I could comment, just so I could say, look, I believe that you believe in this idea, but unfortunately, it's not going to work for you just now. The people that are now backing you are just doing it kind of to make fun of you more than anything else.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
And I said, go back, regroup yourself. I'm not saying you don't have a good idea. I'm just saying that, you need to rethink this and don't engage, don't rise to these things, because that was just making it worse. You know what I mean? I said, you need to, cancel this down, regroup, because let's be honest, you're not going to do it this time, but work on it. And you know what I mean? So I do back projects like that, I'll go on to, for some reason I seem to think that people want my advice, which is it's not always the case. But you know what I mean, if I see something that I think I
get that all the time.
I can help with, I'll still put my nib in anyway. So
I do that as well. I get the kind of I do get a couple of kind of nicely worded emails, kind of like, dear Richard, I don't think the 6-player expansion, where it's all about you destroying wizards from a large height, is ever going to take on. All the best, yours, Jamie Stegmaier. So I don't think no, but I do the same. I kind of book it. I kind of back a lot of the no reward level if I'm going to be doing anything, and sometimes I'll stay till the end, and sometimes I'll jump out. It's too. I like to keep an eye on what's happening with campaigns and kind of what's the latest thing, and who's kind of doing updates and who's not doing updates, and what they're doing in terms of the market, and then check against kind of like Board Game Geek and see how, if certain people are putting up kind of like advertising and stuff like that as well, because it seems to have changed into a huge kind of side industry. Yeah. But occasionally I'll get like a DM from somebody, was one of the guys at Polyhedron Collider, saying, oh, you just been paid today because you've I've had about 15 notifications. It's like, no, I'm not actually going ahead and kind of backing all these games. I am just simply, I'm interested to see how people kind of communicate, and it's also interesting to see from the campaigns, the ones that I've taken off, and they've got like lots of lovely little kind of community comments and stuff like that, and ones where the guys seem to have a really, really good product, but it seems to be stalling for kind of some reason.
I do tend to check it most days, because I do the same. I like to look at something and you think that should be funded, why hasn't it? Or that looks a pile of rubbish, why is it doing so well? And it's just interesting to kind of find that, but usually along the way I do happen to accidentally hit pledge a couple of times. And so it's the nature of the beast, unfortunately, isn't it? Where we've been bitten.
I must admit, I've been quite good in terms of kind of going all in on anything at all. I've not really kind of backed quite a lot, and I think it's because I've got enough to play. Secondly, we do get kind of, it's one of these strange things when you're getting kind of games sent to you to do kind of like previews or quick write-ups or even reviews of certain games. It's nice to kind of be playing games that are available just now instead of playing games that are not going to be available for another year and a half.
Yeah.
And it's games that I'm finding I'm really interested in kind of getting my hands on just now. aren't necessarily going to be the same games I'm going to be interested in getting my hands on when they arrive in kind of like 12 months' time, kind of thing.
Yeah, I find that I've got my ear so close to the ground with Kickstarter that, you miss just normal releases.
Yeah.
And, so you'll go to games night and it'll say, well, what's that you're playing? And they're like, oh, it's such and such. Oh, is it, is it an old game? No, it's just new out.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing a Kickstarter. That's because it wasn't.
Exactly like that. It's because people go, retail and development happens outside. Oh, does it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, where's this retail thing happen? Online, everywhere, except on Kickstarter. Oh, okay. I'll need to check that out. But some of my...
Is this a new business model, or...?
Exactly. What, so I go into or go online and give somebody money and I get it how?
Straight away?
6 months? 3 days? Real? 3 days? How do they manage to get that
They must
turned
have
around
lied
so
on their
quick?
campaign.
I don't know. I mean, is it just a pre-order kind of thing? But then some of the better experiences that I've had this year haven't come from kind of Kickstarter. I'm absolutely thoroughly enjoying kind of like Wildlands at the moment. That not a Kickstarter. Little Town was another game that me and my boy are kind of currently loving. Not a Kickstarter. But I guess it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like, it's really strange because a lot of the games that I must admit I haven't jumped in and played straight away are the Kickstarter ones. I think it's maybe because the process of going in and supporting somebody on the Kickstarter is almost completely detached from the process of actually playing the game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a different experience. It's the excitement of the campaign, isn't it? That's what keeps you going. It doesn't, in some sense, sometimes it doesn't even matter what the product is. It's just that you want that feeling that you're somehow kind of influence what you're going to get, and that you're part of something bigger.
Yeah, and the getting the game at the end of it, isn't the. I'm kind of interested in helping somebody's dream kind of come true.
Yeah.
And then when I get it, it's kind of it's not a direct reward. I guess it's kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah, the reward is that you made it happen, not that you got the product. Which is a kind of, it was an unintentional side effect of Kickstarter that I don't think you kind of realised that was what you're going to get out of it. The kind of karmic pat on the back rather than an actual physical thing.
Yeah, especially if there's kind of like the big sense of community and stuff like that there, which is kind of cool. In terms of the community side of things, you're still doing the shows. You're going about with your little kind of your goggles and your armband.
I've been told that I don't get recognised without them now, so it's I've not got any choice now.
You become like your own meme, basically.
Yeah. The people have spoken.
Does that mean if you went to Tesco's in your kind of your armlet, I don't know what it's, a sleeve, your steampunk sleeve and your glasses, that somebody would recognise you in Tesco's as the Wreck and Ruin guy? Or if you walked up the high street, somebody bumped in and you went, "You're the Wreck and Ruin guy."
But then walked past me unaware if I didn't have the goggles on.
That's what I'm thinking.
I have had people recognise the T-shirt when I've went out to the shops.
Yeah.
Nobody speaks to me, but you know what I mean? You have that kind of, there's that thing.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. Is it like, would you go up and speak to somebody like yourself? I mean, would you not feel a bit kind of, I don't know, I don't want to bug him. I mean, he's obviously in Tesco's, he's getting his shopping. I mean, I don't want to annoy the boy. I didn't want to be going up and kind of saying, "Oh, you're Mark from Fully Funded Wreck and Ruin fame, aren't you?" And you're just like going, "Oh, not again." okay, here's the box, give me the box, I'll sign it for you, kind of thing.
It's strange because it makes you this kind of almost like a Z-list kind of celebrity, kind of that person that showed up on Love Island and then somehow ended up on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of There as now a celebrity. Yeah.
It's like Ryland's entire life story at the moment. I mean, started off crying on a couch. He's now like just presented a 24-hour karaoke sing along for children in need. And you're just like going, how did you? How did that happen? How did that happen? But then again, when you see he's doing everything that he can because he's bloody self-aware that he's kind of like, well, this could potentially dry up at any time. I could be tomorrow's kind of chip paper. So he's getting in as many gigs as he can. And you see like a picture of his house, and his house is massive. His house is huge. He's done quite well for somebody who was a bit of a mockery on TV. So there you kind of go. So I don't know how we got into equating you with Rylan. But I'm quite
I don't have a mouth like that, that's for sure. I don't have a mouth that size. Or I definitely don't have his hair. I wouldn't mind his hair, but
I don't. It's not his. He says it's not his. Well, it's not his real hair. It's dyed kind of jet black. But I mean, any
colour
hair
is not the issue.
Yeah, exactly. It's the density on top. It's a fine mane, and you and me would both love to enjoy such a menagerie of hair.
Such finery.
Such shrubbery. You are still going out and about. You're going to the Glasgow Games Festival. You were out there quite recently. How did you get on with that? I mean, you mentioned like you're still enjoying kind of getting out there and demoing the game, and it's giving you kind of like energy and stuff like that. So is it nice to be out in amongst your adoring public again? Is that why you do it?
For the ego boost?
I wasn't going to say that. I'm glad you built it up, because, you're not a shy man or retiring man. I had to go through your secretary to even be able to speak to you to get an appointment for tonight's show.
Yeah, I enjoy going to them because it's just, at the heart of it, it's all about community and playing games. If I wasn't playing my own, if I wasn't making my own, I'd be going to them to play other games anyway. But it's I don't know, I think I'd feel weird going to a convention but not doing my thing. It's it's also nice to support kind of local ones as well, because Glasgow Games Festival, that was on Saturday there, right?
Yeah.
So that was the very first convention that I attended as an exhibitor, and by exhibitor I mean that was with my handmade models.
Yeah.
Which
you still got them?
I still have them. Yeah, I was originally thinking of making some ridiculous pledge for my campaign, and then I thought probably nobody would want to buy them. So
you never know. Even if you'd funded the first time round, you'd be like, damn.
Yeah. So I still got them. But yeah, that was the very first convention that I attended. So anything local, I'm always going to go to those, because those guys supported me, and it's nice just to be able to support back as well. And it's all fun. It's nice getting out there. Like the Battleboard guy, Battleboard were there as well. So it was nice to see him again. When we were at Tabletop Scotland and we did the Kickstarter panel, he was quite interested in what we had to say. He came to speak to me after we did that as well, and just for some more kind of, more advice, more information, which was quite nice. That my failures were helping other people succeed. But it's
Arcane Blaster Casters, isn't it?
Yeah. So they're on Kickstarter just now actually. So they just launched today. I've came across their post today. So on my lunch break and work, I accidentally hit the pledge button, and then accidentally tweeted that I'd hit the pledge button, and accidentally shared that everywhere. As you accidentally do. So it's nice just to be able to support the kind of the people that listen to you, but also show that it's two-way as well.
Yeah.
That you're never. I mean, I'm not by any stretch of the imagination anywhere close to being big in the industry, but it's nice still to feel valued and also to give back as well. So yeah, I'll back small projects that have, people that I'll meet at these kind of conventions as well.
You're like the old man. Let me tell you what we used to do in my day, kind of thing. You're kind of like, oh, look, who's that? Oh, that's Mark of Fully Funded Wreck and Ruin fame. But he wasn't always Mark of Fully Funded Wreck and Ruin fame. He used to just be Mark of Wreck and Ruin fame. And before that, he wasn't even funded. Let me tell you his story, kind of thing. But I've spoken quite a bit to the Battleboard guys. Keep on spelling their company name as Battleboard guys. So I think while they've got a jolly fun game, and I'm going to say we wrote a kind of a quick kind of first thoughts on Arcane blister casters. I just because it's a wizard game doing spells, I was like, there's no way I'm kind of treating this with the respect that it kind of deserves. So I gave it every single name under the sun except for the actual proper name of the game when I was writing the preview. So there you go. But in fairness, have you played it?
No, it's one of those things I never get to play any other games. Like my girlfriend Suzanne, she'll say, "Oh, you're going to a convention, you're going to play games all day," and I'm like, "Yeah, but it's the same game every day. I've played it thousands of times. I don't get to see anything else. I don't like Craig. He'll shout at me because I don't leave my stand.
Yeah,
he'll say, "For the love of God, go away, get something to eat, see what else is here." And I'm like, "No, like I'm going to, it's like that whole kind of captain thing. I'm going down with my ship kind of thing. I'm not going to leave the helm."
But it's a fun game, though. I mean, I played it. I mean, I hated myself every minute that I played the whole thing, because I was like, I've got to cast a spell. So I had to put the kind of the latex gloves on and I was going to be, sick in my mouth and stuff like that while I was playing. But it is very much kind of, it is what it is. It was a fun game that encouraged kind of people kind of interacting, and it was kind of like the Take That game where, you know how the problem with too many Take That games is once somebody has learned how to get an advantage in a Take That game, there's no point in playing them ever again, because every single time you play that person, you're never ever going to be able to beat them. It's like playing somebody with an absolutely amazing magic deck, and it's just like, well, there's no point in playing them because it's not fun. It's not fun, whereas what we found with Arcane Blaster Casters was everybody was always starting off at the same place because it's the randomness of the spells. You're kind of making the best with the hand that you've been dealt, and sometimes you're not even allowed to see the hand that you've been dealt as well. So it's an awful case of kind of making stuff up on the spot. So there was a kind of a fun Take That element without any kind of player elimination. So it was fun. Do you know what it was? It was very self-aware of what it was, and it wasn't trying to be anything more than what it was. It didn't come in with a big, huge illusion of grandeur. It was like, here's a game, you can play it. Everybody can learn how to play it in kind of like 5-10 minutes, and there you go. So it was fun. It was fun. It was kind of fun. It was good. I hated it. Every single minute. Don't give them money. Give them money to go away. I think I said in the preview. That's what I said. Give them money so they disappear, because I don't want them continually being on Kickstarter trying to get funded. Get them funded and get them off the platform.
Get them out of my sight.
We didn't want any more magic on it. Basically, get them out of here. But when you see, I mean, do you naturally, because you strike me as quite kind of supportive, so are you quite happy to reach out to people and kind of give them help and give them kind of advice and stuff like that yourself? Then
I've put a lot of comments on like any kind of post that I come across on Facebook that I feel like I have a kind of valid input on. Some people disagree with validity, but yeah, the strangest thing was random people actually just private messaging me asking for advice, considering that it was a little bit of imposter syndrome, I suppose, where I was like, am I really the best person? You know, really? You sure there's not anybody else that you can speak to about this kind of stuff? But no, anyone asks me anything, I'm quite happy to help them. And I think that's why I enjoyed that panel so much, because it was nice just to kind of to be able to say some of the stuff, and you know what I mean, like,
yeah.
The fear with everybody is, what if I don't fund? You know what I mean? I wanted to show that, you know, not funding, first of all, doesn't mean you're a failure by any means.
No.
But also it doesn't show, it's not linked to the actual quality of your product as well. You know what I mean? Like, people think it's not funded, so therefore it must be a rubbish game. And you're like, it's not that at all.
No, I think that's so important. And I think one of the things that it's one of the strange things is that a funded Kickstarter game, as you say, doesn't necessarily mean that the game's a good game. But it sounds pretty harsh, because people will be listening and go, but my game got funded. Are you saying my game's rubbish? It's like, I'm not saying it's rubbish. What I'm basically saying is there's campaigns which are extremely good at creating an awful lot of noise to give people that fear of missing out, to give people that I would like to jump in and back it. And I think something that goes ahead and does, you know, a couple of 100,000, yes, it's done a couple of 100,000 because they knew how to get it up to a couple of 100,000. And you know, there's some people are very, very good at kind of creating the noise and getting the noise and stuff like that, you know. And that's not me saying Kickstarters are bad games. I think that there's games out there that have dropped in people's letterboxes that are probably get played only a couple of times because the hype for it's died.
Yeah.
And the desire for the game, as we said, has probably died as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, you face that problem all the time. Like, here I am, 3 years later, still waiting on the cusp of receiving my Dark Souls, the last of my my backer rewards. Despite having punted the game 2 years ago, you know what I mean? And it's one of those things that, yeah, like, you need to hit that. Like, if you decide that you want to kickstart, like, that part of the reason why I still do everything that I still do, the conventions, is that the Kickstarter's the start, it's not the end. And that's where a lot of people get mixed up. They think that once they've done their Kickstarter, that's it, done. No, that should be the start of your journey. At that point, that's when you're looking to get into retail, you're looking to get into distribution, you're wanting these people to know who you are. And the reason why I still do exactly all the same stuff I do, more even, is that it was one of Dave Salisbury's posts, guy that runs Fanboy 3, he basically said that he backs a lot of Kickstarters, and then what happens is, once the campaign's over, like, there's no more noise made. You know, there's not even noise made when the game actually, like, hits shops. He says, so basically, I get a product in that there's no noise around it, and that's one thing. So you need to keep the noise going, and people still need to be excited for it, so you can't wait 3 years for something, and still expect them to be excited about receiving it. Because by that point, there's there's so many different things that have came up in between them.
Yeah. I think the thing with Dark Souls was it was a kind of it was a unique situation, that it was playing on the back of a huge IP that brought in literally thousands of people that had never backed a Kickstarter in their life.
Yeah, probably never played a board game.
Yeah, and it literally brought in people who kind of played the base game and went, this is not the video game that I was expecting. And I think there was a huge disassociation between the digital and the analog version that was offered on the table. I think the continued kind of delays, and the unfortunate delays, and the time scales, and the fact that there was other games that they were getting kind of kickstarted at the same time, I think it kind of ended up a kind of a mishmash of different situations. And I must admit, I kind of all I've seen on the second-hand games kind of groups at the moment is basically cut open boxes full of Dark Souls kind of expansions, and people are just they're trying to get rid of them as quickly as possible before the kind of the price drops through the floor, which is kind of unfortunate. But it just goes to show that even a game that necessarily does kind of millions, I mean, unless you keep the excitement level up, unless you keep the noise up, unless you keep the communication up, it can be very, very difficult to have people. There's a group of people, I think, that kind of slip quite easily into backer's regret. That they kind of go, oh, I've just spent £65 on this. And then 6 months down the line, they're kind of like, I could have used that for something else, like my gas bill.
Yeah, as I'm sitting here in the cold, in the dark, because my electricity's off, waiting for the letterbox to open.
Exactly.
Yeah, I need to reevaluate my priorities here.
But we'll see. So what's next for you then? I mean, are you going to continue on the kind of the circuit? I mean, are we going to see you at... Are you going to continue to see you at places like... Are you going to go to Aircon? Are you going to UK Games Expo? Are you starting to kind of trim back, like kind of those type of visits?
I'm trimming in some places. I'm adding in others. So
right.
I'm not going to Aircon. I just felt like I was doing too many conventions.
Yeah.
I had to kind of trim back in that sense. All my holiday allowance was basically getting used up going away for weekends.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but I've booked my stand for UKGE again. So got a nice big stand again that I had this year. Uh-huh. Just moving back into Hall 1.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, doing that. Working on a couple of different designs. Every design, like I said with the doors, every design I come up with, I start writing about it, and then you start thinking about something else.
Yeah.
Because you never know when the inspiration's going to strike you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually had a card game written out, which I'd already done. Wreck and Ruin, I'd already written it all, and I was kind of developing that, getting ready for Kickstarter. But I just sat down one day and literally wrote a card game in like 20 minutes, and just wrote out a pile of cards. But then I showed it to my brother, and he's like, "Stop Wreck and Ruin and do this first." So I've not touched that since back when I was on the campaign trail. But yeah, I need to get back to that. So there is going to be small stuff, but I do dream big, so there is going to be big stuff as well.
Oh, there's a tagline.
And I'm not going to lie, like, I love making all the games, but the big ones are the ones that make me excited.
Yeah. I think
I'm looking at kind of, I won't go as far as saying legacy, but I like games that give you that computer game experience where, yeah, you can play a campaign, you can run through it, and you can do different things every time, but there's no need to destroy cards to do that. There's ways and means. So I have ideas. The big thing that I'm working on just now is a kind of Monster Hunter style game, and that's the one that I'm really excited about. But I know that it's going to take me years before it's ready, just with the amount of stuff that I want to have in it. So the other ones the small ones are basically to keep me going until then.
Keep you out of trouble.
Yeah. But yeah, idea is have you ever played Monster Hunter on the PS2?
Yes,
right.
I've got it on the Wii U actually, which is a strange place to have a game, but I have I'm aware of it. I've played it.
It was also very strange because that was the only console they released that one on. Was it Freedom?
Oh, yeah, I've got it. What one is it?
Or Unite, was it?
It's sitting on my... Where are you? I can see you. I can't see you. Where are you? No, I can't see you. Nah, I'll find it. It's somewhere. Yeah, I've definitely got it. I think it's Ultimate, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea.
So, my favourite game is and always is going to be likely Kingdom Death, but as much as I love it, it's not without its flaws.
Mm-hmm.
So I took things that I like from it, and I've taken things that I don't like, I've removed them, and kind of came up with my own kind of idea of what would happen if 4 guys with big weapons went up to fight some crazy ass monster. And that's pretty much the premise of the game.
I won that game yesterday, basically. Which is, I think there's definitely a need for something like that.
Already, the development of it has already changed so much from the initial design. Initial idea was dice. I've went away from dice, believe it or not. So what I've done with this one is it's a deck builder / management game on a campaign setting with minis. When I play tested it a couple of weeks ago, and one of the guys said to me, how much have you played of Gloomhaven? And I said, I've not played it at all. He said, this is pretty much Gloomhaven with a big monster. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to be compared to something, then
that's
something like that I want to be compared to, So the idea is that you have a deck of cards which are double up as your actions for your hunter, but also your stamina. So you draw cards, but when you have no cards left to draw, you're exhausted, and you have to basically spend a turn doing nothing to get them all back. But you can rest at any point to get them back, because it involves taking a turn at some point if you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of balance, when is it safe for you to do that? But your deck of cards, each card has an offensive and a defensive capability. So the offensive, you use it in your turn to do whatever actions that you want, whatever the card allows. But they also have a defensive ability which you can keep in your hand for when the monster fights back. So it's up to you. You can spend, you have a hand limit of 5.
Yeah.
You can spend all 5 cards doing one massive attack. And you can do a lot of damage to it, but then it hits back and you've got no defense. Or you can play it safe and you can just kind of slowly chip away at it and kind of just do small attacks, but you're still defending yourself. And it'll be interesting to see the different play styles that come out with it, because you can buy your own cards to put into your deck, and so there'll basically be no classes as such. I'm going to have 4 kind of archetypes, but you can turn them into whatever you want.
I like that.
You could have like your tanky healer, or you can have somebody running about with a bow and a giant axe on their back, whatever you want to do with it. So it's all, again, I think working on that kind of helped me get back into Wreck and Ruin, because this game, the monsters are AI driven, so nobody controls them. They just have set instructions that you follow. Each time you draw a card, and that tells you what it's going to do, who it's going to target, and then the more it gets wounded, the more it gets angry, until it's doing like really nasty stuff. And so it's a toss up between, you can keep the fight going, you can do your small attacks, but you run the risk, the longer that fight goes, the more dangerous it gets. Or you can come in and, just all guns blazing and just try and take it out as quickly as you can. So, it's getting the right feel for each monster, and also getting a feel that each player also has a role to play, and, how they all work together to beat it. It's, I'm really excited about that, and it's upping my design game. I've went up about 10 levels. I'm now level 11.
That's very Spinal Tap. That's very, that's quite dramatic.
But my design ramp goes up to like 1 million, so I've got a bit to go yet.
You got a bit to go. If people want to keep an eye on your design ramp,
let's crank this up to 11.
That's beautiful. What's it called? Lick my lap pump. If people want to keep an eye on where you exist on the internet webs, where do you exist on the internet webs, Mark?
I'm in all the Wreck and Ruin webs, so you look for me, Wreck and Ruin, pretty much anywhere, and I'm there. Instagram, I'm at Wreck and Ruin. Twitter, I'm Wreck_and_Ruin. Facebook, I'm at Wreck and Ruin Game.
Yes.
And I also have a website which is called www.wreckandruingame.co.uk. So yeah, you can speak to me on any of these things, whether it's to show appreciation of the game, whether you want to chat about your own designs. I'm quite happy to talk about anything to do with games. I love it.
Awesome. I'll make sure that we put all of the links in the show notes so that we've got notes to show. If you want to keep an eye on what we're up to, go to the internet web, search for We're Not Wizards, you'll find us. I don't know, go to YouTube. YouTube's always a good thing to do. It's youtube.com/c/We're Not Wizards Tabletop Podcast, and you'll find us there because we're doing kind of videos here, there and everywhere.
A wee sideways glance, as we like to call them, so there you go. And you can find us on all the podcast catchers of choice, the ones that have got a pod in them, the ones that have got a cast in them, the lazy B-mens that have got neither in them. I'm looking at you, Stitcher. If you like what you've listened to, there's 2 things you can do. The first thing is tell somebody else about us. That's fantastic if you do that. Not just one person, tell everybody.
Just go around and make it a thing. There's an election going on. Turn up at people's doors and tell us about it. Say, are you voting for the We're Not Wizards part? And they'll go, who's that? And it's like, well, there's no wizards. And they'll go, oh, I'm going to vote for that then. And it's my way to get ultimate power. And the other thing is you can go to Apple Podcasts and drop us a rating, a review, or even a subscription. If you are going to be giving us a rating or review, do not give us 10 stars, because it makes us big-headed. But don't give us 1 star, because it makes us cry. Give us something in the middle, like a 5, because it's average, and we're just a little bit average. But the person who's not been average is the rather wonderful, the rather fantastic, the fully funded,
fully leveled up
legend. That is Mark McKinnon. Thank you very, very much for coming back on, Mark.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
It's always good fun. It's always good fun. There's only two more things to do. The first thing is to remember that we're many things, but we're not wizards. Are we wizards, Mark?
We are crazy guys that do lots of crazy gaming stuff, but no, we are not wizards.
Absolutely not. And the second thing is to say goodbye. So say goodbye for Mark. Say goodbye, Mark.
Goodbye.
And it's a goodbye from me. Remember, stay safe, roll sixes, make something awful, and until the next time, goodbye.
A wizard is never late. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.